Somebody cook.
At our equestrian Airbnb, and then I can sell you a house, and then you can decorate your house with some of my paintings from my gallery.
Oh, she a hustler.
And then when you're sick of your spouse, you could visit my husband and get a divorce. And then we can do it all over again.
Y'all heard that, right? We can do it all over again. And that, my friends, is how you sell the Walt Disney Classic.
I know the troll's gonna come for me when I say this.
Lie.
But I don't have any kids yet. But mathematically, when I was doing the calculations, instead of having 5 kids by one man, it's more it's more financially beneficial for me to have 5 kids by 5 different men.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man? Bro, I'm out, man. That nigga's tripping.
Especially in Texas, because there's a limit on how much child support you can get. So I'll make sure I have 5 different kids by 5 different men and make sure that they earn at least the max amount, you know, so I can get the max amount of child support every month. He's child's father. Clock it. And I need 5 baby daddies so I can have 5 different men to look out for me, so I don't have to keep keeping my motherfucking head on the motherfucking level every time I come from the walk.
This broad over here trying to create her own version of the Avengers.
They definitely don't want you to know about. When 2 people get married, you receive a marriage license, right? And it's issued by the state. But did you know that every marriage license issued in the United States comes with a blueprint? And the blueprint is set up just like this. It's in a triangular formation. At the top, you got the state. At the bottom corner, you have the wife. The other bottom corner, you have the husband. Now notice the state to the husband has a broken line. A broken line in a blueprint means it bears no weight. Now you'll notice the line drawn from the husband to the wife. Broken line. Has no authority, bears no weight. But the line drawn from the state to the wife, solid, unbroken line. It means that the state is the husband to the wife. And the husband is actually just a third wheel. Now you can maybe start to make sense as to why typically so many men are getting obliterated in family court, because Big Daddy State is protecting its wife. And they laugh all the way to the bank. But there's another method you can do if you still want to get married. When you get married, you document your name and your wife's name and the witnesses in the Bible. You record your names inside the cover of the Bible. Then you take the Bible, you go to a judge, legally will document, and you are now legally married. And you remove the state completely.
Yes, they just gave you the game. They just gave you the game, baby. And that's why your girl over here clocking it, as she say, looking over her shoulder, because she worried about a night train on the way. And that's all these broads out here need. For one, to sit up there and tell you she's a decorator and all that crap, and then tell you we're going to go through the whole Disneyland fantasy of a wedding and magical bridezilla, Cinderella effect, and then you're going to go to my husband because he's a lawyer and he's going to end it, and then you can start it all over again. And then you got this other broad out here walking around in Texas talking about she trying to have 5, count them, $5 foot long. Out here trying to have 5 baby daddies just so she could come up on child support. Make it make sense, bro. Well, because at the end of the day, this diagram that's explaining what real marriage is, this is a patented diagram by the government. They have it. You know what I'm saying? This is what they follow. And if you pay attention, they're connected to their wife. Their pawn. Because that's all she is. That's all the woman is for them, is a pawn to help destroy the man. And anywhere where you see those gaps or you see those those spaces. That's who the state is not connected to. That's who the man is not connected to. So the woman is not connected to the man. The state is not connected to the man. He's a sperm donor. That's what he is, and he's a taxpayer, and that's what child support is. To pay tax and make sure every life in the house is covered tax-wise until they're adults themselves to be able to cover their own tax. And they hope that they make the same silly mistakes that their mammies made, so that you go from seeing your mammy being somebody who played your daddy and put him on child support, and now hopefully, young man, you play the same, you fall for the same tricks, and we can capitalize off what we call the stupid tax. Or your sisters, they could go out there and hook and crook some guy, and then we can keep this cycle going on and on and on. Yes, all the way to the bank. The courts will be to the bank. The government, the state will be to the bank. That broad, she just getting her little severance package, her little payout, but she's a pawn. And for the most part, she works for the man because it's his children, right? Technically. But in all actuality, everybody in that family is a ward under the state, unless you do that last part, which the dude taught you with the Bible. Because trust and believe, most people that go in these courts, God is not involved in your marriage at all. And there's another diagram where a man breaks down, thanks to the brother, breaks down. David Strait is his name, God rest his soul. He broke down how he worked out some things in Alabama to get closer and closer to abolishing marriage licenses all to begin with, because at the bottom you will see that God is broken from everything. He's at the bottom and he's broken from everybody. And then at the top again, the state is still over everything, presiding over everything. And they only care about the wife because they're going to use her emotions and her little capricious ways to tear up houses, because the foolish, she tear down the physical house with her hands and her mouth, and she tears down her man. That's another house with her hands and her mouth. So, I have to try to, make sure that y'all understand the nuances, the gray areas of what's really happened, the spiritual, the three-dimensional level of what's happening here, when all of this stuff is going on, and then we're in ignorance. We're taught in ignorance to sign these dang on marriage licenses and birth certificates. Come on, man. It's catastrophic.
Diagram is from the United States Patent and Trademark Office. It is the blueprint of a marriage. Did you know the states patented a marriage? For all those of thinking about getting married or are married, this is for you. Or those that are divorced, it's still for you. See, the state is the primary in the contract. There is no direct line connection between the husband and the wife. So the state joins with the husband and joins with the wife. There is no direct line between the husband and the wife. That is a broken line. Any architect or engineer will tell you that a broken line on a blueprint is a beam that bears no weight. And they put God on that line. So God bears no weight in the contract. When you get married with the state, God bears no weight in the contract. The state is the primary contract holder under the doctrine of parens patriae. And if the husband wants to deal with the wife, they have to go through the state. If the wife wants to deal with the husband, they have to go through the state, and so on.
So all of y'all law of the land Christians, you just throwing cliches out there and all that other crap, I want to see you wed same-sex individuals in your marriage. I don't want to hear about no bylaws. I don't want to hear about none of that. Marry them, because you're the law of the land, right? No, you're going into these courtrooms and they're marrying you under their will, and they're over the marriage, and God has no bearing, and neither do you. And as it gets closer to Christ's return, these things will be uncovered more and more, because you need not be ignorant anymore.
Goodbye, Grace.
I'm up out of here. I ain't gonna play with her. I'm out, baby. Hit that like, subscribe, and notification bell.